Hey, it's Rooksley here. I'm going to be doing a guide on the Moonkin spec. It is your standard caster. Well, it's a little different. You know, you use mana, but you get this nifty lunar focus bar. I'll explain more on that later. Whenever you go into the spec of balance, you gain your spell, like all other specs, Star Surge. Um, it's a nice burst. It you use it whenever it's off cooldown or whenever it procs via shooting stars. You get Moon Fury, which doubles your crit damage and gives you an overall damage buff. And your Mastery, which is Total Eclipse, you get a damage bonus whenever you reach both ends of the spectrum, which is your lunar over here, the blue, and your solar power here. It may be different if you're running regular unit frames. Quick overview of the spec. Nature's Majesty, 2 out of 2, nice crit chance. Starlight Wrath, reduces cast time of your Wrath and Starfire. Very nice, it's standard. Nature's Grace, it procs, 50% spell haste. Genesis, increases duration of Moonfire and Insect Swarm by 6 seconds, which are your two main dots, and they make shooting stars proc. Moonglow, this is strictly optional. I chose it because I only have 87k mana, so I need that little extra mana gain. Not gain, but mana reduction. Helps balance the power, increases damage, and if you have anything with spirit on it, it is hit rating. So my cloak here, it has 91 spirit, so that spirit counts as hit rating. So see, I am hit capped. The hit rating cap is 1742, so I'm just above there. You just need to hit that and you'll be spot on. Next row, Euphoria, gives a chance of giving double focus. Yeah, lunar energy. I'm not sure why I'm calling it lunar focus. Sorry about that. Then Moonkin form. Typhoon is optional. I picked it. Shits and gigs. You could spend this point in Solar Beam if you'd like, or whatever else. Shooting stars is a must because you have a 4% chance for whenever Insect Swarm or Moonfire ticks, you are able to cast Star Surge for free. I think that's great. And plus, yeah, it procs particularly often, so whenever I talk about priority, that's almost number one on the list. Whenever it procs or is off cooldown, you want to use it. Alkin Frenzy, there's really no reason not to pick this up. It procs 15% of the time and increases damage by 10%. Really nice. It's up the majority of the time, is what I can see at least. Dream State, this is optional. You get more mana whenever you use Innervate, and Innervate's great. Not as good as in Wrath. Wrath is really OP, but now, mana is more of a resource than, like a limited resource than in Wrath. You'd never go in Wrath, but now, you go Innervate's a lot more useful. Force of Nature and Sunfire are givens. You need those extra little DPS and Sunfire. So whenever you are at the end of here and are in a solar eclipse, you want to, this Moonfire transforms into Sunfire, and then Earth and Moon puts a debuff on the target and increases damage taken by spell by 8%. I ignored these two talents because they seem more PvP-ish. Slowing, and whenever you use Moonfire more than once, you gain a buff where it increases damage and reduces mana cost. But you don't run around spamming Moonfire. And bottom of the tree, Starfall. Little extra DPS. Furor increases mana by 15%. Once again, optional. You might want to put like 2 in here and put a point elsewhere. I picked this up. I probably should have picked up Solar Beam for interrupts, but I'll probably respec sooner or later. So it increases direct damage to Moonfire. Natural Shapeshifter, you don't really get any benefits from this. You only get it for Master Shapeshifter, and you get Moonkin form, which is increased spell damage by 4%. Other 3 points used in Heart of the Wild, 6% intellect increase, very nice. Okay, moving on to glyphs. This glyph of Insect Swarm and Moonfire, not optional, mandatory in my eyes. But this one, Glyph of Wrath, is optional. You can replace it with Glyph of Starfire, which increases duration of Moonfire whenever you use Starfire, or Star Surge. Either one is optional. I chose Wrath because I like to see those bigger numbers, a little bit more DPS. For your major glyphs, it's really kind of whatever you feel is necessary. I picked up Starfall so I can use it more DPS. Rebirth, nice in raids, 10 mans, 25 mans, whenever you don't have a DK. Well, yeah, you're gonna have a DK. Glyph of Rebirth, so whenever you battle res, the person's gonna come back with 100% health, so your healer's not gonna be hard pressed to heal him up. And Glyph of Innervate, so if somebody needs an Innervate and I don't use it on myself, I get part of the benefit. Oh. World of Warcraft pros, okay. These two, which I didn't pick up because I don't really, I don't know, situational, like focus. If you want more control over your Starfall, you definitely want to pick this up. So maybe they're CC mobs and you don't, and you don't want to aggro them, pop this on. Or maybe you want to keep it on all the time just for the extra damage. And Solar Beam. So just a little bonus to the interrupt. And minor glyphs, it's purely choice. I picked Mark of the Wild because if I have to buff mid-fight, that's 50% less mana I won't have to cast. I won't have to spend. It'd be 4.4k mana without this, and another 10% if I wasn't spec'd into Moonglow. So that's a hefty chunk of mana. Unburdened Rebirth because I don't really feel like wasting up a slot. Yeah, see, I don't have much room because here's Feral Gear, and this is for an alt of mine, but yeah, I don't have inventory room to carry them around. Now, priority. Remember, always be in Moonkin form. You don't want to be running around here in regular. You'll look like a noob. So, like I just did there, you want to open up with Moonfire and Insect Swarm, because you'll get those dots ticking, and Star Surge will eventually proc. Usually it procs pretty often, and you want to keep an eye on it. Right here are mine, or you might have power auras. So once you have those up, right as I click to use it, not clicked, press to use it, Star Surge proc. So if it's off cooldown or is procking, you want to use it. So I'm going into Solar, so I'll use Starfire. Star Surge is off cooldown, so Starfire until I reach Solar. My dots are falling off. you want to get one last tick in before you put them back up. So Wrath, because you are in a solar eclipse. So you want to be casting Wrath, and you'll eventually go to hit 0. You will lose the damage buff, and you'll use it until you get back over here. My dots fell off, so I gotta put them back up. Shooting stars procced. Oop. So lunar eclipse. Use Starfire. This is off cooldown. Okay. Oh, and it procced. That kind of sucks. That does happen sometimes, but you really can't avoid it sometimes. And your AoE spells, you might be thinking, oh yeah, back in Wrath, Hurricane was the way to go. Look at this damage. It's honestly terrible. And you spend 14k mana on that, and I'm spec'd into that. It's not good at all. You want to be doing wild mushrooms. So say this is a pack here. It won't be able to attack that, but I'll put them right here. You put 3 of them down with wild mushroom, and then you detonate them. You get some nice embers. This is probably your most efficient AoE. So another AoE you have is Starfall. It has a relatively short cooldown, so Starfall has a minute cooldown, and it has a pretty good area of effect. And remember Glyph if you have some CC targets. So another spell that you have whenever you want to use it off cooldown is Force of Nature. You get Treants who attack for you, your target, so they'll go after and smack it up a little bit. Some miscellaneous spells that are situational. Not situational, but you can use them whenever. Thorns, I don't really see use for it unless tank is having trouble keeping AoE aggro. Pop it on him, because the damage done isn't gonna add aggro to you. It's going to give him a little bit more aggro. Barkskin, I use this at all times whenever it's off cooldown, just because it's so helpful on your healer. Innervate, whenever you are below 50% or like 40%, use it, because then it's on a short cooldown. You can use it twice in a fight, sometimes, depends. You have a CC, which is Hibernate. Is for Dragonkin, or Beast. There's a few instances that you can use it, but you're one of the few classes who can CC Dragonkin. And you also have Soothe, which takes a rage buff off them. Also you have Fairy Fire, and I don't know why I didn't have it on there. It's a armor debuff. You should only be stacking this up if no one else in the raid or party has armor debuffs. So usually you're gonna have like a rogue or a warrior, but unless you don't worry about it. Excuse me. So that is all for my guide. If you need any help with anything, contact me. Like, comment, subscribe, thumbs up, whatever, leave feedback. Go easy on me. This is my first guide. So yeah, thank you.